I don't know how, but every day I'm getting more and more congested. Allergies suck, dude. This year has been the worst one ever. I think next year, like, my mouth's gonna clog up. I'm not gonna be able to breathe in any orifice. It's gonna be bad. Also, we're making a loading icon that happens to be a thing. This one's cool because it's very simple and it's a cool idea, right? Cubes make up a bigger cube, which becomes the thing that makes the bigger thing. Let's talk about how to do that. It's geometry nodes, which we like. And again, if I sound congested, it's because this is all I can think about. Okay, how do we do this? We need 8 cubes. Shift D to duplicate x-axis by 2 units because this is a 2-meter cube. We need 8 of these, so Shift D with both of these on the y-axis by 2, then select 4 of these, Shift D on the z-axis by 2. Did you follow? Good. Now we're going to select all 8 that are making up the bigger cube, and we want to center it like this, right? So we move it on the x-axis by -1, on the z-axis by -1, on the y-axis by -1, and now we have a cube that is centered. Beautiful. Next order of business is the rest, okay? Here's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna get rid of the camera from the collection so that the only thing in I'm just gonna give it a name. I don't know if you can see it because the camera's on the top right, but we have a collection up here. You know what, let me just show you. We have a collection up here. It's important because the cubes are in here, the camera's not, okay? Make sure that you do this because the rest of this is geometry nodes and we need that collection. So I'm gonna add in an object. It could be a plane, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. Just add in an object, and then in geometry nodes, what we're gonna do is make this a geonodes group, delete, and then add a collection node. So this is where we're doing all the magic. At this point, we can hide the collection because we could import it in here. So what's happening is this collection's being imported in through geometry nodes, but we don't see it. Let me breathe. But we don't see the original. In fact, if you look at the information that composes this, you can see it's all put in one instance. I don't want this. I want to be able to control all of them individually. So I'm going to make sure to separate children. So we have each cube as a instance. This lets us do stuff like the scale instances node, which you can see scales them individually, which is useful. I want to scale them one at a time. So I'm going to look at their index. In other words, cube 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 7, right? That's the index. And I want to compare it to some number that we can animate. So I'm going to subtract it from this, make that the scale, clamp it so it can't go above 1 or below 0. And now you can see we have a way to animate the cubes. So we want to start off with a single cube, which happens to be 6 for this. I'm sure there's a reason why. I just do not care. So let it be 6. And then we want to animate it over, let's say, 30 frames. And on frame 30, we bring this down to, I guess it's -1. Whatever. So now we have this animation. By the way, T, linear. This will make it a constant speed, which is useful for the transition. Why? You know, maybe to you it sounds the same, but to me it does not sound the same. It sounds like I'm talking through like a old school telephone and I'm like getting a low pass, you know what I mean? Okay, so we have this happening. The cubes are composing the thing, but as this happens, it should be getting smaller so that it's the size of the original cube. Do you know what I mean for the transition? So we're going to start off with the translation, rotation, the scale, all at 0 or 1 for the scale. Go to the last frame, and at this point, as we form the entire cube, it should go back to a single component, so it's going to be half the size. And we want to translate it, so I'm going to keyframe that. So the cube starts up here, so we want to translate it on the y-axis by 1, I suppose, on the z-axis by 1, on the x-axis by 1. This way, the first frame and the last frame look the same, but you know, this one's composed of 8 cubes. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's good. You can see it kind of looks a bit weird. It's like it's doing it and then it's pausing. This is because, again, T, linear. This is what's going to make it a constant speed. If you wanted to get fancy, by the way, You could do the rotation as well. And then on the last frame, you rotate it by, I don't know, 90 degrees. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. Again, make sure that all your keyframes are linear. Okay, last thing, by the way, the first frame and the last frame are the same. That means we have a redundant frame, so you want to go to frame 29, actually. That way, we still have the keyframes, but we're not repeating it. So, let's get the camera in the correct position. To make this look good, I like to set it to orthographic and find the angle. Whoops. Camera to view. Find the angle that looks the best. I think it's this one, and I'm just going to orient it so it kind of looks like there's a hexagon, right? And this point is the middle of the hexagon. So something like that. See what that looks like? Gotta zoom out. Yep, that looks correct. Okay, and then for the rest of this, you just kind of render it. so that's the essence of it. Now you have a infinite thing that just loops. Isn't that fun? Okay, let's end this nightmare. Big camera. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. As always, at the end of this, I like to pimp the ever-living harmonica out of my Patreon, so Patreon, it exists. There's a link in the description. If you become a patron, my congestion goes away. But there's 3 benefits if you want to join Patreon. 1, you get early access to tutorials. You could have seen this tutorial multiple days early. 2, blend files. That's the $5 tier. You get the You get access to the blend file for the render, as well as every blend file I've uploaded since 2019, which happens to be a couple hundred. So for $5, you get hundreds of project files. And lastly, exclusive tutorials. I make some tutorials only for Patreon. Those tend to be pretty advanced. I made one today, actually. Either way, if you join Patreon, it is the best way to support this channel and CG Matter. Thank you so much for watching. I need air. And by the way, you get to put an extra ad in the video if you go for 8 minutes. So let me just talk about something for an extra 20 seconds. I've been meditating. I'm trying to up my meditation time, get more zen, start seeing everything as atoms instead of like objects. We're trying to get dissociated, boys. You know what I mean. Okay, 7 more seconds. I was meditating for more than 7 seconds. For more than 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did we do it? Well, I need an extra couple seconds because of the intro. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you for watching.